Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for May 23rd, 2021. We had a bit of an eventful week this week. We got a little bit of Masterpiece news, a little bit of Legends news, and a lot of mainline Chug news. We also have some Star Wars news and some interesting stuff going on with the Motu. We'll talk about this coming up. First off, a few things going on at Show Z. We've got the Magic Square MS-B33 Deadly Perceptor arriving. It's coming into stock right now. So it's going to say sold out for a day or two, arrival notice. Then they'll put them back in the system with whatever's left over. But it looks like a really awesome figure. I'm looking forward to getting mine. And we have McFan's Toys also putting this up at Show Z for pre-order for $2. McFan's Toys Trailbreaker, and I'm going to break it down for you in the Legends section what this is exactly. But it's kind of cool, it's kind of exciting, but sadly a little disappointing. And lastly, we got the 01 Studio Pumpkin P01, Pumpkin 2010 Universal Dominator version. So this is a really deep orange coloring, so it's a much different color scheme, color deco. The gray parts are darker gray. In the original release, it was more of a lighter blue. So it's a different recolor. So this is, I think, the third or fourth time that they're issuing this mold, and probably going to issue it 20 times. Who knows? No price yet, $5 down. But I want to talk about this a little bit. So getting into our Masterpiece segment here, the planetary rings on this are the original size. Even though there's an upgrade version or an upgrade set, I don't think that actually was 01 Studio. Someone else made that, possibly. But anyway, this one has just normal size planetary rings, and it doesn't include any batteries or anything. It's supposed to ship in June of 2021, so that's coming up next month. So we just get some pictures of this week, and it's coming in a month. So I kind of like that. Like, you don't have to wait forever to get it. But again, it's a mold we already have. It's just a recolor. But if people didn't pick it up before, now you can get it like this, and I don't know, I might even like this color scheme better. So Takara's putting out a picture of their Seeker team. Now we're getting to see all three of the Seekers that are coming up in one group. More pictures, more and more pictures of this, and they're promoting it, trying to get people excited for it, showing how that you can use these blast effects to make it look like they're flying and these kinds of things. So it's kind of exciting. It kind of segues into my next topic. So we've got some pictures here of Zeta's Thundercracker. I call it Thundermaker. It's a Zeta EX16. And the one thing about this one is, for some reason, I see the whole body of the original cone heads that they made with Toy World, and then Zeta remade them. I see it more with Thundercracker, or maybe just these pictures, than I did with the Starscream. But still, it's a good mold. I like it. It's okay. They are pretty tall, though. I would say that the pictures they put out are more or less glamour shots. You remember going to get glamour shots at the mall or whatever, but here's the glamour shots of Thundercracker. So it does look good. I mean, it really works really well. The whole mold. It's an old mold. It's a dated mold, and it's more of a real world feel and less of a hyper-tuned feel, and that's kind of how it shows it's dated. I hope they get us updated with some pricing information soon. So next on the agenda here, we've got some information on the NPM Bumblebee movie version of Optimus Prime, and it's going to be compatible with the trailer for MP44. So if you dropped your $328 to $450 or however much you paid for yours, and you've got a trailer, then kudos, it'll fit on this. This, I guess, will not come with the trailer, have a lower price point, which is still good, it's fine. Why not offer the trailer separate and offer MP44 alone, this guy alone, and a whole trailer pack separate? That would have been a smart idea. That would have been cool. And then these collectors getting this one could actually get a trailer. So it's been a pretty, very, extremely light week in Masterpiece news. But I do want to say, coming out of this, we're getting into Legends. And there's a lot going on with Legends, but it's kind of like feast or famine, and it's kind of a famine in Legends too. But McFan's Toys MF52 Pioneer Trailbreaker is coming out, and I got to looking at it and I was just thinking, you know, is this their own design? And I had to really prove it to myself because I actually wanted to say, yes, it's their own design. So I had the bright idea to put it side by side with Magic Square and go, let's see the difference between this one and Magic Square's. And I just don't see the difference. I mean, I don't think the rest of this is painted, but they're copying Magic Square, they're KO oversizing. I don't mind that they KO oversize, and if they're going to KO oversize anything, it would be Magic Square. And I'm happy with that they're KO oversizing Magic Square stuff, but I would kind of prefer their own designs. But then again, Magic Square is really good at design, so I guess them copying it, it's one of those things that I kind of want them to get out of that pocket and give us new characters, but at the same time, I do enjoy their KO oversize, so I'm kind of in a conundrum with this. But what do you think? Does this look like they copied this thing and just KO oversized it? So Magic Square came out with a video, I guess a video showcasing this yellow Trailblazer, the Diaclone Limited Edition version. So anyway, this is kind of one of those things where they're going to do all these repaints. But I wonder if they're going to put out Trailbreaker again. So I don't see Magic Square going back and just making the same figure over and over and over. They usually make it, and then they make a different color of it. They use the same mold, make a different color, or they make it metallic color. But they don't seem to make the original very often. Even with their Prime, there's a lot of changes. It's vastly different every time they put it out. So maybe it's okay that McFan's Toys is KO oversizing that thing right now. So this really isn't Legends. I think this is smaller than Legends. But anyway, this is Killer Body. They announced 5 officially licensed Transformer Mini retro cassette players with speaker and a figurine set. Figurine meaning it doesn't move, it's just kind of there. But featuring Bumblebee or Optimus Prime in action poses, and then have hand-painted battle damage effects with detail foot soles, have magnets, and different shapes suitable for multiple scenes, and each shape is matched with the corresponding chain, stainless steel plate, bracket, or weapon, and analog tape rotation function. The tape door can be opened, put in, but it's all Bluetooth to play the music. It's got an FM radio and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of an interesting little homage to the 80s, sorta. So we've talked about this, I think, back in January, but it's available now. The Amazon exclusive Combiner Wars Devastator reissue for $150. Now, it originally came out like 8 years ago or something like that for $140, and now it's $150. So yeah, $10 more. That's not bad. That is not bad at all, considering what else happened in the world and inflation, all that stuff. So if you're in on this, I think they're putting this back out. It's kind of a prelude to what's going to happen with the upcoming combiners in the series that hasn't officially been announced yet, but Minotaur and all that kind of stuff. So if you're in on it, you might want to get it now. I'll try to link it down below for you guys. And speaking of some, that's not really a deal actually, but the Quintesson came back in stock at TF Source. I actually got myself another one. I want to make sure I have 3 of these no matter what, because I think they're that cool. I think they're that good. The X-Transbots one is nice, but I don't know if I'm ever going to buy 3 of them. And it's huge. These actually fit very well. They work in displays. You can put it in your masterpiece if you want to. You can put it in your main line. It works very well. So I like it. And I don't think they'll be $35 much longer. I think when they sell out, this might be that last wave syndrome. Okay, so we have a Fan First Friday. And it just came. I watched it. It was okay. I think they wasted the first like 12 minutes. It was a complete waste. But we have a DVD coming out. So if you need a Blu-ray of it, it's coming. So that's the first 12 minutes. Anyway, they did show off the Slag or Slug, and here it is in the bot mode. We've already seen reviews on this. It's old news. It's been leaked, and they even joked about what was leaked and what hasn't been leaked and that kind of stuff in the live stream. But here we are with this guy looking good. I'm kind of excited the route they're going with this, and how we're going to get all these dinos in leader class, and they're going to look good. It's going to look better than Power of the Primes and all that. I love it. It's going to cost way more than Power of the Primes, but anyway, looking at the alt mode, and it looks good. They did showcase, they went cartoon accurate, and then they pulled the Power of the Primes and said, Power of the Primes was toy accurate. So you get the best of both worlds. If you have the Power of the Primes, there's a reason to keep both, actually, and not get rid of them because one's toy, one's toon. That's kind of a good point. It was kind of interesting that they said that. So earlier this week, we had Crim Zeke Reviews leak us a picture of Wreck-Gar, and it was kind of trippy how he just had it, and he had it with some background and all this kind of cool stuff. So this picture got leaked, and then it showed up with official pictures on Friday. So here we are with the Wreck-Gar, and these are official pictures. I like the backgrounds that they put in for their official pictures and all that. So it looks good. It looks way better than Power of the Primes. And in fact, it does look better than I thought it would. I am impressed. Hasbro is doing excellent work. And this is going to be a figure that I'm going to have at least 2 of. Even though they're going to come out with that junkyard, scrapyard dog, junkyard, I am going to have to get at least 2 of this one and 2 of the other one. And for Voyager scale, $30. I mean, it's a really good figure. I like the way it looks. Let's see the alt mode on this, because of course he's gonna be riding himself right away as soon as we get to. He's gonna be riding himself. But I want to point out a couple of things. First off, this looks really good. It's, I wouldn't say spot on, but really close. But if you look at it, you can start breaking down how it's going to transform. It's going to be relatively simple. I don't know if you guys have the KFC version. That thing is very overly engineered for what it does. This looks to be very simple. Split the middle, fold a few things out, move the arms in, and then put the legs back. I mean, that's really how it works as a transformation. Looks to be very simple. So I kind of like that, and it looks good all at the same time. Then they gave us something to gnaw on. Ha, ha, ha. Sharkticon. So this thing looks good. You know, we could pick it to death apart and look at the bad, but let's look at the good. It just looks pretty good. So it's not like they took the Legends one and made it bigger. They made the whole new figure, and the whole new figure looks so much better, so much more articulation, and I like the breakup of colors. It's really interesting to look at because there are so many different colors going on, and I know it's just colored plastic, it's not paint, and it doesn't need to be painted in the main line. The eyes are painted, I think, but it's such an interesting breakup, so much going on. I like how the gun seems to clip to the side. It's really, I think they did a good job here. I'm impressed, and I kind of like to see exactly how big it is. It's still going to be kind of a short figure. It's still going to be, it's going to be bigger than what we got before, but not really a full deluxe class, I don't think. Here we go with it in the bot mode, and I think that looks pretty good too. It looks exactly like what you expect. This is just really Takara. Let's give all the credit to Takara, basically. I mean, Hasbro's distributing Takara's designs and efforts here, and it looks great. I like it. This is going to be another army builder, troop builder. 3, 4, 6. I mean, what's the optimal number of Sharkticons you'd want in your display? Because I already have, I think I have like 8. If you, all the different varieties that they've made in the past. So throwing this guy in, which just blows them all out of water, I think you could mix and match them all. I think you have some bigger and smaller Sharkticons, and that looks fine in your display. Here we are with the package shot. So this shows you just how small he is. And it also shows you, it looks like he's going to be a parts former a bit. So is that a thing? Is he going to be a parts former? He comes apart? Or is that just so it fits in the package? A lot of interesting ideas and questions that we have here. But still exciting. Still great. It's not going to stop me from buying at least 3. So we got a shattered glass Starscream in the Siege Tetrajet mold. And it looks interesting. It's kind of cool. They're just adding to it. It's kind of funny because the blur is showing up and people are taking their pictures of that and all that stuff that's floating around. But now we've got the Starscream. And it looks pretty interesting. It's kind of cool. I know a lot of people like this mold. A lot of people are going to get every one of these that come out. And I kind of say they're milking the mold. But I think it's a pretty cool idea to have the Tetrajets in the first place. So here we go with the jet mode itself. And it does look cool. I mean, it's a different color scheme than we've seen at all before. So what other colors can they come up with and characters? They'll just keep doing it. And Generation Selects Artfire here. We have this, it's obviously the reuse and the recolor of the grapple, and then the infernal, and now we have the infernal inferno, and we have the Artfire. And so it's what they do. They've done it in third party, they've done it in mainline, all this kind of stuff. So here we are, and it looks good. It's a generation select, and it's not really surprising that they're doing it. Here we are with the alt mode. It looks pretty good, and I like it. We've seen this mold over and over, but it does look good with this red and white color scheme and the way they got it going on. It works. And more studio series that they're talking about that's coming up. There's no pictures. I don't even know if this is considered rumor or if it's actually been declared. But anyhow, we have something called the studio series Revenge of the Fallen Jolt. And I think that this is the last version that was made. Picture I found from Amazon. It's for sale on Amazon still. But there you go. And then we're going to get an updated version of that. It's going to look better than this. And I'm just kind of curious what the differences will be. And I know that the modern studio series looks really good. We're also supposed to be getting a Revenge of the Fallen Ravage. So that will be a lot of fun if we do indeed get that. I actually have this figure. I have this one. I pretty much buy any Ravage that's out there and have a Ravage shelf. So that's kind of fun. Curious what they do different. This actually does look good when you pose it on the shelf. It looks pretty good. And I hope I'm representing this character properly. It's the Revenge of the Fallen Grinder. Now they're going to make an update to this one in the Studio Series, and that's going to be Studio Series like 73. And I'm wondering, are they going to be both together? And if they're both together, are they going to make like Ravage as a non-transforming accessory? So that's kind of what they're talking about. I think that's what's going to happen in this case. So news broke this last week about Red. And a lot of people online were not happy about it, which I don't understand. What do you care? If you don't collect the line, you don't care. They can keep pumping out 1,000 of these. If you're not going to buy them, don't care. It's not a big deal. I probably will, but I'm looking for a clearance. Like, when's the clearance going to happen? Because I don't feel like they're quite worth $20. But anyway, getting into this Shockwave is coming out, and I'm interested in seeing how it looks. I wonder if they kind of learn from the first wave and the second wave and change things, or they just continue in the same direction. So it'll be interesting. I know a lot of people are out after the Bumblebee, but still, I've got the Prime, and I'm looking to get some more of these. Anyway, next one is Galvatron. So I'd like to see what they do with the Galvatron. Like, how's this thing going to look? We obviously already have a Galvatron coming to the main line, but these are $20 like action figures. So what's this going to look like? What are they going to pack with it? Obviously a Matrix, that kind of stuff, probably. Then there's going to be a blaster. So like War for Cybertron Kingdom Voyager blaster has been announced, you could say. So we've talked about that one already. So that's coming. We're going to be getting the red version of Megatron from the Prime movie. And we're going to be getting the Studio Voyager Hot Rod variant. So basically what we said were rumors last week. We're getting a little bit more information on it. So it looks like all those rumors were pretty true. So we got some actual in-hand pictures of Rhinox for Kingdom Rhinox. And one thing I like about in-hand pictures that I like more than the actual photo shoots that Hasbro does is you can see what it looks like in the real world, in the wild. You'll know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get with this. And I don't think it looks bad. I mean, he looks a little bit light, a little bit pale, but he also did in the show. So there's a few things about this that are a lot more screen accurate, and I like, and I'm starting to wonder if this is just going to be a pretty simplistic transformation. I also wonder that when it's in the alt mode, I think this will hold together better than the original one, and I really haven't handled much of the 30th anniversary out of the package. So this one looks pretty good, and I still can't wait to see a review side by side. There's probably one out there of this compared to 35th anniversary. So a lot more in-hand images of things we've already seen before, but let's take a look at this. We got in-hand image of the Shattered Glass Blur, and it's the Generation Selects, and he looks pretty cool. It's a good figure. I think the biggest downside to the figure is how they did those parts underneath The forearms, they're just big. But aside from that, the figure does look pretty good, operates really well, and in looking like this, it's sort of less noticeable now that they've got the part underneath the forearms in a black instead of matching the actual forearm. So that kind of looks good. That does sort of fix the figure a bit. So we've got more in-hand pictures of Rodimus and Rodimus in the Commander class that's coming up, looking good. I actually like this, again, in-hand pictures. You can see exactly what it looks like, and I like it better with the in-hand pictures than I like with the Hasbro pictures. I think this looks better. This makes the figure look better. Here's the alt mode, and that looks pretty much like we've seen. It's like we've expected, and it looks like Rodimus Prime. We also get to see how it's packaged, so this is what it looks like in the box. You know, what's in the box, it's Rodimus Prime. And yeah, it's packaged in alt mode, and it's got like a bag of accessories there. And in case you're wondering, here's the packaging. And I'm hearing this is starting to show up in some countries, not the US just yet, but it is starting to show up. So those of you that have been looking forward to it, you might be getting it pretty soon. In-hand picture shots of Galvatron. Galvatron looking pretty good. Kingdom version, not quite out yet, but yeah, it looks good. This is how he scales. He is going to be leader. Is he leader? Leader? And he's bigger than the Voyagers, like he should be, just a little bit bigger. I think he looks good at it. Some people argue, is Cyclonus taller? Should Cyclonus be taller than Galvatron? And I think Galvatron should be the biggest. I mean, that's just in my mind. But anyway, here's how much bigger he is than Hot Rod. And yep, looks a bit intimidating. Like he's going to bully up on some Hot Rod there. And he's got his Matrix, and Hot Rod's eyeballing it. So, before we get into some Star Wars news, a couple of fun things to talk about. Major Blood got released this past week, started showing up Targets everywhere, and it's kind of funny. I did see someone get a hold of 2 cases, so now I can find out, or we can find out, that it's officially 6 Major Bloods per case, and not a breakup between 3 different figures, like there was rumored last week, a possibility. So, I think there's actually going to be 2 case packs going out, but it'd be interesting to see if we start seeing Vipers resurface. But I personally think Major Blood will be a lot easier to get than the Viper, and a lot easier to get, probably along the lines of Firefly easy, maybe even easier than getting Firefly. They'll start showing up, hopefully multiple cases, not just the one, and hopefully not like what happened last time where they start breaking the case and sending out 2 or 3 per store instead of a whole case. So the PowerCon exclusives went up for sale Saturday and sold out Saturday on BBTS and the PowerCon site. So the interesting thing is that the prices jumped up. This was originally supposed to be $30. Now it's $50, and it's sold out. So what else do we have? Well, we got the Faker and the Duplicate that originally was going to be $60. Now it's $90, and it's sold out. $90 sold out. And then we had the 4-pack of figures. $60 worth of figures, right? It was originally going to be $150, which I thought was crazy. But it sold out at $220. $220 was the price you bought one set of 4 figures. Crazy. So not a lot of Star Wars news this week, but we do have some Star Wars news this week. And we did get the Target exclusive release of these Black Series figures in the Clone Wars packaging, and I don't know how they can get stocked this well. Our Target got 4 figures of the exact same character, so I don't know what's going on with that. How come they didn't get all the characters represented? Have they not get a case of each or whatever? So that is a huge dry spell going on in my area. So there's a picture of a whole bunch of them, but there were so many people waiting for 4 figures that showed up, which was crazy. I wasn't there, I just heard about it. So, Vintage Collection collectors might be after this Boba Fett. And in my opinion, it's the best card back for Boba Fett, because it's the one I remember, it's the one I opened as a kid, and so it's my Boba Fett. I like that card back. Well, it's actually not exactly right either, but You can get these on Amazon, and Amazon had them for 13 bucks, but then they went back to 18. But if you keep checking Amazon, I'll try to get a link for that for you too. But if you keep checking Amazon, you might catch it at 13. So they're getting them in and out of stock, in and out of stock. I don't know about you, but I see the remnants of this wave hanging on the pegs, but never Boba Fett. It's like it sells before the box is cut open. It's crazy. That's how hot he is. So that's great. You might want to have to go to Amazon and get it for your 18 bucks or whatever before they skyrocket to 50, 80, 100. Who knows how crazy the price will go on this once they actually stop showing up online. And, well, I've never seen them in retail, so they seem to have stopped retail. And this is something else that I missed, and it's funny because it seems like maybe everyone missed it. I didn't know they were coming out with this, but it was the Star Wars Galaxy Adventures Mandalorian 5-inch scale 2-pack. Now, maybe it's because I just don't pay attention to the 5-inch scale. It's kind of like just in the middle, but it's not the right temperature. It's not hot or cold, but it's not good. But it looks good. It actually does look good. The Mandalorian itself looks good. The Stormtrooper looks a little wonky for a Stormtrooper, but it's kind of interesting. It's a $20 set, makes it $10 a piece. But if that's something someone's in, maybe you're in on it, maybe not. So it's quite obvious Hasbro Transformers stole the week of news. They did a great job of putting out some pictures of figures that we're going to get. It's not a huge amount, it's not overwhelming, and then the kind of rumors take over. But I'm curious what you think of this week's Weekly News and Review. Let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe, and Titanium Hanger out.